welcome back to the Be the Hero channel. I'm Isabelle and I help you understand the stars so that you can feel more clarity and control over your day and yourself. Now, before I dive into today's video, hit the link in the description below to book your Self-Revolution Astrology Birth Chart reading now. These are 1-hour readings where we get to dive into any and everything about your chart. So book now in the link in the description below. I know I've taken a long time off of this channel and I apologize. I've just been insanely busy and frankly a little discouraged because I haven't quite got the results I was hoping for from this YouTube channel. But you subscribers are absolutely amazing. I love every one of you. Appreciate the ones who always watch our videos. So I wanted to pop in today and talk about a new aspect in astrology. I've covered a lot about signs. I've covered a lot about houses. I've even dived into what it means to have these in specific signs together. But I wanted to take a minute to talk about a very specific aspect that a lot of people have in their chart. If you don't know, there are a few different aspects in your chart that you can have. These are known as trines, sextiles, conjunctions, squares, and oppositions. Eventually, I will do a video covering what each of these are, but each of these different aspects have different meaning in your chart. And what these aspects are degrees calculated between one planet to another. So a trine, for example, is 120 degrees apart when exact. And this is a positive aspect that brings luck. Today, I wanted to talk about what it means to have your sun opposing your moon in your chart, because it's frankly a very, very powerful aspect to have in your chart that can lead to a lot of confliction in yourself and can make it to a lot of people with this aspect don't know what direction they want to go in life. So let's cover more on this. An opposition is an aspect between two planets where they are directly opposite of each other. And oppositions are frankly easy to understand if you're new to aspects. They are opposing. They're at the same degree, exactly apart from each other. So 180 degrees apart. And with an opposition, what it naturally indicates is tension. And this is slightly different than a square. A square is also a conflicting aspect, but it is slightly different in the sense that a square is that they just don't see each other's point of view. They're confused, they don't get it. Whereas an opposition is almost as if you have two of the same people with different motives, because every opposing zodiac sign has a commonality. And for it to be an opposition aspect, they have to be in the opposite zodiac signs, at least as far as an exact opposition. There's a very rare occasion where you'll have a not exact opposition at the final degrees of the non-exact zodiac sign. So to explain that better, I've seen a few times in astrology readings where someone will have maybe a moon in Scorpio and naturally an opposition with their Jupiter would be in Taurus, but instead their Jupiter's in the final degrees of Aries, and so it's just right enough where they form an opposition. But overall, an opposition has to be exactly opposing from each other, so it just depends on the degree it's in. So what does it mean to have a opposition between your sun and moon? Like I said, an opposition is where you have the same desire, or you have a commonality in your desires, but you can't meet in the middle. You are being pulled in one direction and then pulled in another. You swing extremes with these and it's hard for them to coexist. So when you have an opposition aspect in your chart, you find it hard to meet in the middle. You feel like you either live in one or live in the other, and the other one is unfulfilled when you're living in the fulfillment of one. So the moon in astrology is your emotional fulfillment. It also shows what you tend to act like when you are truly trusting and close to someone. So people might not see your moon sign at first. For example, I have a moon in Cancer, which means at my core, I am very soft, very sensitive, very gentle. The sun, however, is our ego self. It shows what really helps us live what feels like a meaningful life. So an example again, I am a sun in Aries, and what that means is that I see that a life is best lived through doing new things, initiating new things, charging life straight on, and being independent at times. This is also my ego self though, so at times I can be headstrong, blunt, and self-protective and hyper-independent for the sake of security. So when the sun is opposing the moon in your chart, it means that you feel conflict of interest between your core values, your ego self, also known as, or not also known as, but also additionally your ego self, and your emotional desires. If your moon is wanting one thing, you want something specific for emotional fulfillment, your sun sign ego defense mechanisms can get in the way of you emotionally fulfilling yourself, or vice versa. Your emotions may be getting in the way of you fulfilling your core life desires. This is very subjective based off of what sign it's in. So it's really hard to explain what it exactly means to have a certain kind of opposition without knowing what sign the moon and sun are in. But for example, your sun and moon would have to be in Aries or Libra, Taurus or Scorpio, Gemini or Sagittarius, Cancer or Capricorn, Leo or Aquarius, Virgo or Pisces, and that covers them all. I was about to go around the horn once again, and I just realized I already listed all the oppositions. I don't think I missed any. But those are the oppositions that your sun and moon would have to be in for it to be a true opposition aspect. And basically what that means is you're going to ego desire one thing, and you're going to emotionally desire another. And this is actually a very fascinating thing to me about astrology, is that our ego desires are different from our emotional desires. And we do, in fact, have egoistic desires. For example, I could use my own astrology. I am a sun in Aries, which I've said before, but that means I have an egoistic desire for independence when deep down my emotional fulfillment comes from being around other people and being nurtured by other people to connect truly. Also keep in mind when you're looking at opposition aspect, what houses they are in. Because naturally, the houses are different areas of our lives, and this can be a huge help when we are dealing with oppositions. Because naturally, there's different areas of life where we find these fulfillments. So let's say you had an opposition between your sun and moon, and your sun was in your 10th house and your moon was in your 4th house then by default. And let's just say your sun was in Capricorn, your moon was in Cancer, to make it easy. If you're feeling that push and pull between your egoistic desire for success and achievement, and yet you emotionally want to be nurtured and cared for and care for others, find balance by seeking nurturance and caring for others in your home life because it's in your 4th house, and then also make equal amount of time for your career success, because that is the best way to navigate oppositions, is by looking at each planet can only be fulfilled in the house it's in. You'll never feel the fulfillment of that desire unless you're fulfilling it in the area of life it wants to be fulfilled. Hopefully that makes sense. But overall, oppositions can feel challenging, but they are a call to reflect on how can I find balance. If you have a lot of oppositions in your chart, you are probably someone who, even in your potentially past life or just your life now, you are called to learn more balance, and you are called to learn more neutrality rather than being overly extreme in things. So if this video helped you understand what the opposition between the sun and moon looks like, let me know in the comments below. And while you are down there, if you want to learn more about your specific sun-moon opposition, whether it's in Gemini and Sagittarius or Cancer and Capricorn, whatever it is, then book a reading with me in the link in the description below, where in 1 hour we dive deep into your chart. Once again, my name's Isabelle. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and stay tuned for more videos breaking down the stars. And let me know in the comments below what else you want to see, because frankly, I just get too overwhelmed to film more videos. From my heart to yours, I vow to you. Namaste.